Hi, I'm Jordan the Nerd of Gold, and on Monday it was Godzilla Day, celebrating a lot of Godzilla stuff. We got plenty of news, which I'll make another video about that. But the next day I was still vibing off all the cool Godzilla stuff that we got, and I was like, man, how can I do this? Oh, I know, I'm going to read all the Marvel versus one-shots that came out, so I'm going to go through and explain all my feelings about this. I know all these one-shots have been out, so yeah, I'm a little behind on that front, but I still want to talk about it. So, Godzilla vs. Fantastic Four is the first one out of these, and it's probably the one I disliked the most. Not dislike, but it just didn't do anything for me, which is really surprising because, one, I think Ryan North's Fantastic Four run as it's going on right now is the best Fantastic Four has been in years, and I'm including Jonathan Hickman, Matt Fraction, and Mark Waid when I say that. I really like Ryan North's Fantastic Four. So I gotta say, this one shot just didn't do anything for me on that front, and I was surprised by that. And John Romita, I know he's kind of controversial for some fans, but I have been a fan of his art for most of his time. And that being said, I know there's occasional panels where I'm like, oh, okay, he was a little rushing a little bit during that part, but like this one, it wasn't some of his best work in my opinion. The issue was fine. It wasn't anything like I would be like, oh, this was terrible or anything. But like, yeah, I gotta say the Fantastic Four one was probably the least thrilling out of this Godzilla versus different Marvel heroes. I think it was the Hulk that was next on this front. And that one I had a lot of fun with. I think that was it was a good deal of fun between the art, bringing Dr. Demonicus back from the original Marvel 70s run of Godzilla comics, having Hedorah being like this monster that was in there where he got to like be spliced together from different monster DNA. I thought that was really cool. I thought that was very fun. Didn't have a lot of Hulk in it, but I did like the use of Mechagodzilla in this issue, and I was fine with that. I did like Godzilla being hulked out. That was a really fun detail. Next was the Spider-Man issue, if I'm remembering the order correctly. And the Spider-Man issue, I think, it's fine. It's a fun little issue about Spider-Man having some love troubles between Mary Jane and Black Cat, and their little rivalry was fun on that front. But, I mean, there's not much that Spider-Man can do against Godzilla, no matter whether we're talking about regular Spider-Man or as the issue has him in his symbiote suit. And I did like that the symbiote tried to take over Godzilla, and they tied into Null, which I don't think they really needed to do because I think Null's kind of overrated, personally. Not to say that he doesn't have potential as a villain. I just think that Marvel's been trying to push him too hard on that front. But yeah, that was a fun little issue. I'd like seeing that Godzilla got a little symbol on him, like Spider-Man has his symbol. That was really fun and silly. And then it ends with Eddie Brock becoming God Venom or something, which that's a fun little design. I like that, but at the same time, like, why leave on a cliffhanger like that when you know we're not really going to follow it up? So, I don't know. Next on the list, I think, is, in terms of the order, the X-Men one. And that one, or it could be the Thor one. I think it's the X-Men one. Yeah, it's like 90s X-Men versus Godzilla. And this is actually, I think, my second favorite issue out of the bunch because, yeah, it did a really good job of making kaiju and mutants being parallel to each other, fighting the Tri-Sentinel that's made of other kaijus from the 90s Heisei movies, and that was a lot of fun. I enjoyed that one. And yeah, I thought the one thing I thought was weird about that issue is that we had the Super Adaptoid in there, and the Super Adaptoid is typically an Avengers villain, so I'm like, it just felt odd to me. I can't really say that it was like a bad story decision or anything. It was logical. It made sense. But at the same time, like, Super Adaptoid? That's just weird. Whatever. But yeah, I really like that issue overall. Next we have, I think in the order it goes, the Avengers issue where it's taking a place in like the new Avengers era, and Godzilla and Fin Fang Foom getting a fight over the title of who is King of the Monsters. I thought that was very funny on that front, that Fin Fang Foom's like, no, I'm King of the Monsters, and Godzilla just smacks him around with his tail. That was really funny. And then I think David F. Walker is the writer on that one. I think he did a fantastic job making like a facsimile of Brian Michael Bendis' style in there. It felt very much of the new Avengers of that time period, like the early days, like the first 20 issues of that. It felt very much like that pitter-patter of Bendis speak. So I think he did a fantastic job on that front. And then I know people have feelings about Bendis, but yeah, I still like that era. But yeah, moving on to the next one. I think the final issue is the Thor issue, which is my favorite. I think that was easily the best issue out of the bunch. Jason Aaron is so good at writing Thor, and he just mixes in Godzilla so well in that moment that it works perfectly, seamlessly. I would expect Godzilla to be a regular enemy of Thor at this point based on that issue, because he weaves in both everything that Jason Aaron has been writing with, like the Punisher as the head of the hand, back to the Gore the God Butcher stuff when he took over in the all new, all different era. And man, yeah, it just worked so well. And Aaron Kruger on that art, oh my gosh, I think because of the writing and the art on that run, that's my favorite issue. I think all the artists did a great job overall, but like Aaron Kruger just knocked it out of the park with that Thor run and issue. Oh man, it's so good. I loved Godzilla versus Thor. That was such a fun issue. But yeah, I will let you know what I think about Godzilla Destroys the Marvel Universe when I'm able to catch up on that. But man, yeah, it's been a great week to be a Godzilla fan.